Welcome back to another Sculpt Session Sunday. I'm your host, Sash, and I am here with my bestie, Mandizzle with the Shizzle.
Hey guys.
And Mans and I are going to be talking about why strength training is so important for women from as many points and perspectives as we possibly can. I think we are living in a day and age where it is glorified to get lean and skinny and shredded, and you see the supermodels and you see the influencers, and don't get me wrong, I'm in a cut right now and so is Mandy. Like, we are both in cuts. Mandy's getting ready for a show, I'm getting ready for my wedding, so we are like, I don't want to completely take away from the cutting and whatnot, but A, that's done intentionally. B, we don't live like this year round. C, we prioritize muscle, weightlifting, strength training to be able to even look the way that we look. Like, I know a lot of people want to start losing weight without having any muscle on them. Then they end up looking like that skinny fat or just like stringy or just not how they thought that they would look. And newsflash, if you want that toned look, that is literally just revealing the muscle that you have underneath. And if you don't strength train, rumor has it, you don't have a lot of muscle underneath, if any. So I really want this to be informational, motivational, educational, even in a way of why it's so important for women to strength train. And I truly believe that there is not a single woman that is, what's the correct word? Not a part of this. Like, I believe every single woman should be strength training. Mandy, what do you think about that statement?
Yeah. I don't care if you are old, young. I don't care what you identify as. I don't care what your race is. I don't care what your abilities are. It everyone.
Everyone.
Everyone should be strength training. Every
Yeah,
single woman. I agree.
yeah, totally. And I think that the first big thing that I want to really jump into is like this fear of getting bulky, this fear of getting big, this fear of muscle, like fearing muscle for you looking like getting bulky, eating more, weighing more, lifting heavy. And to that, I just want to say that going to the gym 2 to 3 times a week and eating 100 plus grams of protein a day is not going to make you bulky. You're not going to look like an Olympian. You're not going to look like a pro bodybuilder. We are, Mandy and I are intentionally trying to do everything we possibly can in our growth season to get bulky. And it still doesn't even work for us. Like, no matter how hard we try, no matter how high our calories are. So I think women fear this, and I think people fear this idea of getting bulky because with training more, you're supposed to be eating more, but they're not eating more of the right things. So it's not that they're getting bulky, it's just that they get inflamed and or fat. And that's different than putting on muscle.
Totally. I mean, as someone who was once 100 and almost 90 pounds on my 5'2" frame, I was more bulky, do not working out and not tracking my food that way than when I started lifting weights and eating more intentionally. I'm not even going to say when I started tracking, just being more intentional about the foods I was eating. And to what you're saying about the bulky myth, um I have two things. The first one being the more muscle mass you have, the better your metabolism is. So you're gonna burn fat anyway. So really,
Muscle
like,
equals quicker metabolism equals
yeah,
burning calories equals losing weight.
right. So that's how you can eat more food. And like you said, it should be
Yeah.
like quality food. And then the second thing I was gonna say, when you're talking about how hard you and I work to try and intentionally look like what we want to look like from a sport athletic bodybuilding perspective. That's why I once made a joke saying it takes a lot of effort to look this mid.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
I'm not trying to like shit on what I look like physically. It's because it is a joke, but when like you and I who are aspiring to be pros in a bodybuilding sport, if you look at us compared to the pros or like high level
Like
Olympians, and
we're
it's like,
so
man,
mid.
I'm busting my ass and I just look like this. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's a funny joke, but like there's truth to it because
Mhm.
unless you are tracking every single meal, every single day, training 5 times a week, strength training, progressively overloading the weight, creatine every single day, maybe even at some point enhancements, like you are not gonna look like a bodybuilder.
Mm-mm.
So if that's
No.
your fear is to look like a bodybuilder and to get bulky and to get whatever, that's not going to happen with you going to the gym 2 times a week, lifting weights, or 3 times a week, bonus points for that extra day, being more intentional with eating more protein and with your sleep and with your steps and with your water. Like you are not going to turn into an Olympian. That
Right.
could
We
be the
pinky
starting
promise.
stone. Yeah, literally, pinky promise. That could be the starting point for you. Like that might turn into more, but even I don't know if you're familiar with this girl. She's like a social media influencer. Her name's Caitlin Martinez. I don't know if you're familiar with her. She works with Young LA. If I showed you a picture, you might know her. Works with Young LA, works with Define. I think she's adorable and she's been getting a lot of backlash because she is lean right now. Like she's been doing a very aggressive cut and she's very lean and she's been getting backlash for like how unsustainable that is. But a lot of girls, like younger girls who are looking up to her, are like, holy shit, I'm gonna start a cut because I want to look like this. And you are not going to look like her because before she did the cut, for the last, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years, she's been busting her butt in the gym to put on muscle. Like she has been working so hard to gain the muscle that she has. And not to mention, while she's been in the cut, she's been strength training to maintain. Yeah, yeah, literally. Literally, that's a side by side. So if you're not familiar and you're watching this on YouTube, that's a side by side of her before she started the cut versus after. And before she started the cut, like I don't know how much weight she lost. I don't know if she shared it. I don't keep tabs like that high, but I do follow her and I do really like her and how she like puts herself out. But I specifically there want to point out like she did not just start working out and immediately start a cut and she looks like that. Like that is just revealed muscle that she built through being in a bulk, a growth phase, whatever the case is. But to kind of bring that back into strength training and its importance for women, you touched on metabolism. I think metabolism is humongous here. I think you would also agree that it building muscle and having muscle in your frame helps with insulin sensitivity, bone health. Like women are so much more at stake to falling and breaking a freaking hip at the age of 50 if they don't have muscle on them versus if they do. Like I forgot what the exact percentages are, but we are so much more likely to develop osteoporosis and bone problems and have issues with our bones if we do not have muscle protecting them. So, like, if you don't want to work out and strength train for the aesthetics of it because you really don't give a shit about how you look, give a shit about your body and how it's going to be operating and how it's going to be functioning because your daily functions, like, I want to be a grandma who is able to lift her grandkids. I want to be a parent who's able to hold the groceries in one bag and hold my kid in the other hand, like in one hand and my kid in the other hand. Like, and even if you don't want to have kids, like just to be able to maneuver and function on your own as an adult, I think is like you have this one body and I don't want to rely on anyone to have to take care of my body for me. So
Hmm.
if that in itself does not scare the crap out of you to go and to work out, I don't know what will. Like it really does not come down to aesthetics at this point, even though the aesthetics are a great bonus, it comes down to how you're going to feel as you get older. And one thing that I recently thought of is how much it affects also something like your posture. Like I don't know if you see like the elderly people, and I actually have a couple clients that are a little bit older, and one of the biggest things that I work on with them is this, like the pulling the shoulders back, making sure that we're training their back and opening it up and keeping like this because otherwise we end up like especially nowadays we work behind computers, we're always hunched over like this forces us like working out and training like your form is shit if you're standing like this like you can't work out like this forces you to have a better posture have better understanding of your body and control over your body so that is just the tip of why you should be strength training.
Can I have a little scared straight moment?
Please.
Okay, because you mentioned being like a little old lady and having a high risk of like falling and
Falling.
breaking a hip.
Yeah.
Right. So maybe not so much like in your 50s, but it'll be brutal still, trust me. I'm if you're looking for credentials, listeners, I have been a surgical nurse for the last 15 years, and I spent the last 5 years at a ortho specific surgery center. Thank you. Thank you.
And
Um,
Mandy also just retired because she's a badass. So everyone give Mandy a round of applause. Sorry, had to give you your flowers over here.
Thank you. But at that surgery center, when we focused on a lot of ortho, we did a lot of total joint replacement. So I have seen people as young, unfortunately, as in their 20s. And that's usually like a rare disease type thing that we see where they need to get joint replacement that early. But I've seen women in their 30s, in their 40s, in their 50s that need to get joint replacements. And admittedly, it has become a little bit safer, but in your older age, now we're talking like 60s, 70s, where you can still have a very good quality of life, your mortality risk increases exponentially if you do not have that muscle or strong bone in place and you are osteoporotic. It is almost, and I, again, scared straight moment, and I'm not saying this to be a meanie poo poo head, you are almost guaranteed that that is going to be the root cause of your death. Because if your bone health is poor, you fall, you break a hip. Not only are you no longer like most of these women, when I worked in the hospital at bedside too, couldn't move by themselves. So if they had to go to the bathroom and they like the nurse couldn't get there fast enough, you are now laying in your own pee until we clean you up. Nobody wants that. Um, and I mean, we do it with dignity, but also like we could prevent that. And
Yeah.
then the other part of it is like now you're at risk because you're not moving around. We could have an embolus. You can have something go to your lungs, go to your heart. We can have a stroke. So even if that's like the cause, if you had never fallen and broken your hip, we wouldn't be in the position we are in.
Yeah.
So just kind of like keeping that in mind. You mentioned being a grandma, but even if somebody doesn't want kids, I guarantee nobody wants to sit there and have to have someone else like wipe them up after going to the bathroom. So that in itself is a good incentive to strength train now.
Yeah. And that also like if we do have someone that's listening that is in that like 50, 60, maybe even older range, that should not be a moment for you to be like, well, shit, I missed my mark with strength training and I missed my mark to gain muscle because now I'm 60 and I've never worked out. It's like, no, 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 no. You can you can buy 2 pound dumbbells, 5 pound dumbbells, and start working out now. There is no late time to start working out. There's a grandma on Instagram
I'm
that,
pulling her up.
are you following her?
I'm pulling her
She
up.
now has brand deals and she's like popping and stuff. She literally started working out at like 70 something, I think. And she's like in her 80s now and she's ripped and jacked and trains and is always posting videos of her doing these exercises. And Mandy's pulling it up.
She started when she was
She started when she
70.
was 70. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
yes, I've seen her. I've seen her.
so it is never too
It
late.
is literally
And
never too late.
yeah,
It
she
is never
looks
too late.
so amazing.
And I can
And
promise you that she added years to her life. Like if she was gonna have another, God willingly, 10 or 15 years, I would say 20 she has now, if not even more.
yeah.
Obviously, we don't pick and choose how much time we get here, but we could have a better quality of life here by taking care of our bodies. And on that note, I mean, there's so many other reasons why strength training is so incredibly important. Mandy, thank you for dropping that gem. I think that that was a really great scared straight moment because that is really scary. And again, I don't want anyone who's listening to be like, well, I'm in my 40s and I could have spent the last 40 years strength training. So I'm kind of just like, what was me? Boo hoo. Like, I missed my mark. Like, whatever. It's like, no, no, no. Change that mentality, change that thought process. It is literally start with doing body weight stuff in your living room. There is no perfect place or perfect time to start. I am very grateful and very blessed for when I started. But I also have had clients that came to me. One of my clients only started working out at 60 years old and is 65 now and has been doing it for 5 years and says every single time that they've never felt better about themselves. I have another client who only started working out she is turning 45 this year, and she started working out at like 42 or 43. So
Nice.
it's like, yeah, of course, for the most part, you see these young girls that get into the gym and want to get into the gym. And I love that. I'm so here for it. Please keep them coming. Keep them coming. Keep working out. Keep changing your freaking life. This changed my life. This changed Mandy's life. Working out and strength training is the reason why Mandy retired at the age of 37. Working out and strength training is the reason why I work for myself full time and am a coach and have clients. And we've spoken about this. We're both in the relationships that we're in because of strength training. So aside from what it's done to our physical bodies, and like this is something that we plan to continue doing for the rest of our lives, God willingly, we are able to and have the ability to, and all working limbs to be able to do so. But just to kind of also add a couple other things to take into consideration why strength training is so important, aside from what it just does to your body, is what it does to your mind. There are literal studies and proof and evidence that shows that strength training lowers the risk and just the progression of possible depression and anxiety. And I think I even read somewhere that like if dementia or something along those lines runs in
Yeah.
your family, you can essentially almost like prevent it in a way. Like not maybe not forever, but at least
Epigenetics,
epi
dude.
epigenetics, which that
Yeah.
was a really cool podcast that we did on Mandy's account. So on Mandy's channel. So you should totally hop over and listen to that one. But the mental health side of things, I will always say that the gym pulled me out of a bad place. And there's never a time that I walk into the gym that I don't walk out feeling at least 1% better about myself because I walked into the gym. So, regardless of where you're at, like whether you want to go into it because of physique aesthetic goals, or you want to go into it because you want to have a stronger body, or you want stronger muscles, or you're mentally going through something and you're having a really hard time mentally, like there is not a single thing. This is going to sound crazy. I don't think there is a single thing that the gym can't fix for you, for yourself. It will create a completely different person out of you. It's like if you've never watched the movie Mulan, there's a song where it's like, I'll make a man out of you. Like that's literally the gym. Like it will make a person out of you. And again, this is not something that you need to jump in, get a membership, go 6 times a week in order to be successful and in order to see results. Like you can start with your living room. You can build up that confidence for yourself. You can stop doing an hour of cardio and instead do 20 minutes and get your steps in, but pour the rest of the time into strength training. And I feel like I want to wrap this up with maybe a couple of action steps that we can give to women who are maybe just about to get started, or maybe this kind of sparked something for them, regardless of what age they're in. I don't care if you're 16 listening to this or if you're 66 listening to this. Mans, what are a couple of action steps that you would give?
Well, I'm always a huge advocate for data because science. But if the idea of tracking your food is scary, intimidating, or like maybe a little too intense, I first recommend just starting by making sure each meal that you eat has protein. That's it. Like, that is the smallest baby step. That's going to be your foundation for muscle. It's going to be your foundation for hormone health. It's going to keep you full longer. So, we're going to be kind of staving off some of those like cravings. That would definitely be one of my top actionable steps that I would recommend, as well as really staying hydrated, because I think a lot of people think you're going to go in the gym, start lifting, and then you're going to be sweating like buckets, like Arnold Schwarzenegger in any of the movies he's done. And like, no, not necessarily. Like, your body kind of adjusts to it slowly, but it's still really important to be hydrated. And your thirst cues and hunger cues are very similar. So if you're somebody that is struggling with, I don't want to get bulky, but I also have a lot of cravings, I would say drink your water, be hydrated, and you're also going to clear that brain fog and probably be a little bit more motivated to actually go in and do it.
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
those are really great. Those are really, really great. And to add on to that, I want to just from the mindset side of things, just keeping in mind that when you're going into the gym, you're not going into the gym because you hate your body. You're not going into the gym because you are punishing yourself for something. You are going to the gym because you want to love your body more, because you want to age well, because you deserve to live in a healthy body that functions optimally and that you just enjoy living in. Not to get all
Do it.
yeah, maybe I should. I cannot imagine, and like everyone has very different circumstances, but if you know that you have the opportunity to do something different, whether it's, like I said, literally working out in your freaking bedroom, like I used to do workouts in my bedroom, I used to do workouts in my living room. I had little tiny ankle weights that I would use. I have a client who when she works out from home and she's really busy, she is doing like this challenge right now with herself of like working out a certain amount of times a week and this and that, just like a self kind of challenge. And she didn't have any weights at home. And one of the parts of her challenge is to not drink any more alcohol. And she used to drink a lot of alcohol. So she uses the bottles of like the jugs of alcohol as weights when she's doing like lunges and squats and stuff. So it's you can use books, you can use a water bottle, you can find something in your house to start with if you're nervous or shy or not sure of what to do in the gym. And if you know that you have the capability to make a change and you are choosing to not make a change, you are choosing that life for yourself, and then you cannot be confused when it hits you upside the head like a freaking brick and your body gives out on you.
Mhm.
So you are given this body, honor it, love it, treat it well. You're not gonna get lucky enough to get another one. Maybe other organs, if if God forbid you ever need them, which God willingly you don't, but you're never gonna get another body. You're never gonna get flesh like you have right now. So treat it, treat it well, take care of yourself, and strength train. That's what I have.
That's a good mic drop.
That's a good mic drop. That's a good mic drop. But thank you guys for tuning in to another Sculpt Session Sunday. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope that this gave you a little kick in the butt to go work out and to pick up some weights. And I will go ahead and link Mandy's pod chat down below. It's going to be unfiltered and functional, which those drop every single Monday. And I know that I mentioned the little epigenetics moment over there. Mandy and I did record that on her channel, and that is up and posted. So if you want to go ahead and check that out, I'll link that down below as well. And we will see you next week for the next Sculpt Session Sunday.
Bye.
Bye.